We're going to have to talk about Gabby Petito. I'm not going to talk about it the way these true crime vloggers are talking about it. You know, they're having their own unique conversation about, you know, the police procedure and other criminal elements of the case. And I'm obviously not a part of the tiny house, tiny van community. They're having a conversation about safety and, personal relationship issues and, among other things, pertaining to Gabby's situation. It's very distressful. And of course, it seems like a lot of, or some members of the tiny house community or the tiny van life community, they've crossed paths with Gabby, and she seemed to have been a pretty sweet and kind, gentle person. And unfortunately, she's no longer among us. As of making this video today, the FBI has essentially confirmed that they found what they believe is Gabby's remains. So she is likely no longer with us. So the dogs have been called off. The national park where her body was discovered is going to be closed for the foreseeable future until they are done with their work or their investigation. And the family's been notified. And I can't imagine what it would be like to discover your child being, viciously, seemingly, allegedly murdered in this brutal fashion. And the person who may be responsible is now on the run. And it seems like a lot of things have gone wrong, but that's a different conversation. But I'm a political analyst, and I obviously do politics here besides tech stuff and nerd stuff. So we're going to be talking about the bitter, jealous losers in the Democratic Party and the modern left, these wokesters who have come out to attack Gabby and attack her fans, or not fans, I apologize, her supporters. And it's largely because of racial animus, bitterness, and jealousy. They're attacking Gabby simply because she has white skin. This is how ugly politics has gotten into. This is how ugly politics has become in this country. I apologize, I misspoke. So we're going to watch this video, and we're going to go ahead and react to it. So let's just go ahead and take a listen.
I just think somebody needed to say this, but the amount of white women on my TikTok right now talking about Gabby Petito and her missing case. First of all, I understand it's a very important case. I literally wrote my senior thesis in archaeology on forensic anthropology.
That doesn't make you an expert. Shut your fucking mouth. Get to the point.
So I understand missing people is very crucial. But if the white women on this app had the same energy they care about this one white woman, the same way that we should care about black women or indigenous women, then a lot of the problems that black and brown people or BIPOC overall would be experiencing would be over by now. So keep talking about this one white woman, but never talk about the others that go missing. Great.
Yeah, and to this I say, shut your fucking mouth, you... Gotta behave. Let me just put it this way. It's just like I'm listening to this, and it's like, hey, if you really care about X, and you place a lot of, emphasis and attention to X, that must mean you don't care at all about Y. It's like, where's the logic here? Goodness. It's absolutely pathetic. Jealousy, bitterness, ugliness coming from this person. I mean, this stupid TikTok woman, ugly, heinous, inside and out. It's obvious, right? Now, and she also brought something up that's interesting, and it's actually somewhat true. It's like, hey, if people place a lot of emphasis and energy on some of the issues of these brave BIPOC women are dealing with in their, in their cities or in their towns or whatever, that a lot of their problems could be resolved because because people would be hyper focusing on their issues, and hopefully somebody would be committed to resolving them. But they're not being resolved, and people aren't really paying attention to the problems in the inner cities. And I wonder why that is. That's rhetorical. I actually know why that is. I know why that is. I'm going to talk about, really quick, Jasmine Barnes. Tiny black girl, tiny black child. She was shot at. The mother, the kids, they were leaving a supermarket. Somebody just dumped a mag or two into the car. Jasmine Barnes died. Tiny black girl. Violent activists in the fake news industry, they start promoting this narrative that the shooter was a sickly, skinny-looking white male with the bones protruding from his skin. He looked evil. He looked like he had hate in his heart. I mean, these are the words of Jasmine Barnes' mother. And then, of course, that narrative fell apart really, really quick. People like Sean King were promoting this lie. Oh, it was a sickly white man. It was a little dick incel warrior. This is Drump's America, Orange Man's America. The orange tyranny strikes again, and it took the life of Jasmine Barnes. Oh, what's this? Charges were brought against a black man, actually multiple black individuals who were responsible for the shooting. And get this, the mother knew exactly who they were. Sean King was doing this podcast show, whatever. He was on some YouTube channel, some stream, and he was talking with this man. I forgot who he was. He was like a pastor or something, some minister at some urban youth. I don't know. Doesn't matter. And Sean King says, we lost faith in Jasmine Barnes' mother's story. We lost faith in the victim's statements. They're not being truthful. They're not being forthcoming. They had to back away from it. But they weren't the only ones. Everybody seemed to have backed away from it. So once you can't blame the evil white menace, they completely shut up. They move on. And it's like, wait a minute, but I thought we cared about BIPOCs, right? We got to save the BIPOCs and talk about things that are killing off the BIPOCs. I mean, this is, well, does she, I bet this goofball, this stupid, ugly, woke leftist doesn't know who Jasmine Barnes is. I bet they don't even know who Sequoia Turner is. Interesting. Again, Sequoia Turner, another tiny black child, a little girl. She was with her family in a car, and some Black Lives Matter activist thug dumps a few rounds into the car, killing Sequoia Turner. No conversation about violence springing forth from these riots. Why is that? But the onus is on us. We're the bad guys. We're the bad guys. I mean, we're not allowed to talk about these things. If you try to talk about these things in a meaningful way, you get banned, you get harassed, you get your life threatened. Just ask James Alsop. Gone. Nicholas J. Fuentes. Gone. Jared Taylor, gone. I could go on. You speak honestly about crime in the United States? Oh, they shut that down real quick. Because when you start quoting FBI crime statistics, you start, noticing things. Then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we can't talk about these things because that's racist. That's offensive. But it's our fault. This stupid TikToker, she's literally responsible for the reason why we can't have an honest conversation about crime. Now, let's talk about Gabby really quick. Why are so many people fixated on Gabby's situation and paid so much attention to Gabby Petito's plight? Because she's not a private citizen. Plain and simple. It helps that she's really pretty. She was attractive. She seemed to have been very kind and gentle to people. She had a lot of friends. She documented and advertised her life to the world. So, and there's a lot of interest around the tiny van lifestyle, the tiny house lifestyle, the tiny house movement. So when we see and hear about a couple having, trouble in their relationship, and it's documented in a body cam of a police officer, people's eyebrows, go up, they rise, their ears perk up. And it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Because you look at a lot of these tiny house lifestyle videos or these van life videos, and the couples are like really attractive, they're healthy, they're living their best life, they're exploring things, and they're going on these like wacky adventures, and it just seems cool. It seems like a lot of fun. It seems like nothing could go wrong, but something did go wrong. And a lot of people took it upon themselves to trace back their steps to see where they were, they were scrutinizing all their posts and their comments, etc., and they did their best to help the authorities find Gabby Petito, hoping to save her maybe, and get to the bottom of who was responsible for what transpired. Right now, it's looking like it's Michael Laundrie, but again, he's innocent until proven guilty. But for whatever reason, these goofball leftists, these ugly Democrats, they want to make this about race. And I've read some comments, I don't have them pulled up here, but they're like, oh, well, Michael Landry, typical white guy, getting away with whatever he wants. They just slapped him on the wrist and they left, and then now he escaped and blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, you guys weren't there. You don't know what's going on. Shut your mouths. You're not helpful at all. Pathetic, man. I think we got more, though. Let's go ahead and scroll down here. What do we got? All right, so we got this fucking ghoulish thing. Let's watch.
The way that this app is treating the disappearance of this Gabby girl is fucking horrendous in multiple ways.
Your fucking weight is horrendous in multiple ways. Go lose some weight, you fucking bitch.
First off, it's very clear that the only reason that y'all motherfuckers care this much about this situation is because she's a pretty little white girl, and that's not to demean.
Yeah, that's right. Gabby is dead and pretty, and people still have more interest in you, who's alive and breathing. You fat fucking couch. Shut your fucking mouth.
Her or the situation, but none of y'all have this energy for any of the brown, black, or indigenous women who have gone missing this year or literally fucking ever. But you care a lot.
I already addressed why that is. Let's move on.
About this little white girl with a nice Instagram, don't ya? Also, there are way too many of you who are treating this like a fun little murder mystery for clout instead of realizing that this is an actual person who is missing and could be in severe danger.
Your Honor, I must protest. I object. The witness is engaging in what we call mind reading. I'd like to have this stricken from the record, please. Thank you.
Whose family is probably like stressed to the fucking max trying to find their kid. Obviously, I understand the power of the internet and people have come together on the internet to solve crimes before, but y'all aren't trying to do that.
A YouTuber likely was very instrumental in discovering where to look for Gabby Petito. I'm just putting that out there right now. It's very likely that is the case. Again, she doesn't know. Shut up. God, these leftists are so insufferable.
You just want views. The way that...
Yeah, it's like, oh, you just want views and clout because Gabby Petito, and then of course she's like literally doing the same thing. Look, Gabby Petito, I already said I'm not a part of the tiny house van life community, but it's a fellow content creator, and the story is obviously very upsetting. And I had a bad take, a personal take. I was communicating with my people, and I was like, it's very possible this is a hoax. I thought it was initially a hoax. I know I didn't publish it. Here's why I thought that. A lot of people in the tiny house van life community, they're fakes. They pretend that they live in a van when they don't, and they do a lot of stupid, cringy things for attention. And I was like, maybe it could be one of those things. I mean, I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm not the only one who did that, but I didn't go hard on it. It was just a thought in the back of my head. And obviously, I wish that was the case. I don't want people to be hurt or anything like that. I don't wish ill on people. And unfortunately, the worst of the worst has happened, and a lot of people are sad and heartbroken. And again, like, my condolences to anybody that is personally affected by this, and to fellow content creator. And I think, people who are honest, we can have, talk about safety on the road, talk about resolving personal issues in our lives, and, knowing how to love someone, but also knowing how to disagree with them amicably, so you don't end up in a situation where you're put in danger when you're out in the road and you don't got your support network behind you. Gabby was very, very vulnerable. Plain and simple. She was vulnerable. It was just her and Michael, it seems, the entire time. And, at some point, something happened to her, and nobody was there to protect her or save her. And obviously Michael wasn't going to be the person to do that because he fled the area and he went home, and now he's missing. So yeah, there's a lot of these goofball leftists with these garbage takes, man. And as I'm making this video right before I started filming, somebody else posted, it's like, well, why is this getting so much attention, but all these other, brave BIPOCs, they don't get this attention? Again, private citizen versus public citizen. Also, we're not allowed to talk about crime in our cities because, again, diversity is our strength, and we're not allowed to shatter the narrative. So there's that's the primary component in my estimation, in my professional opinion. And again, if it was if Gabby Petito, looked like Simone Biles or something, I'd be like, whoa, I would be upset, and I would be making the exact same video. And if somebody were to be making a video similar to what these goofball woke leftists did, I would react the same way. I'd be like, yeah, you sound like a bitter, resentful, jealous bitch, and you need to get some fucking perspective, plain and simple. No, I like to, let's say it was like if Gabby looked like Simone Biles, the races were reversed. Leftists would be like, all these fake white people, they're just trying to pretend to be allies. They'd find some way to attack white people again, because that's basically what I'm seeing on Twitter. It's like, fuck whites. They can't give breathing room to the family. They can't give a breathing room to the people who are upset by this. And I'm kind of upset by this. This is obviously terrible news. So yeah, that's all I got, you guys. So let me know what you think. Again, just pray for the family, pray for the Petito family, and man, goddamn anybody that helped Michael Laundrie escape. I really hope his parents had nothing to do with. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna get all riled up. So yeah, I got some other stuff to do. God bless. Peace out.